All right, today we're going to peel back the layers on a really slick phishing attack. One that doesn't need a fake website, doesn't need to steal your password, but can still completely compromise your account. It's a method that takes a feature built for convenience and turns it into a weapon. Let's get into it.
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if you did everything right? You checked the URL, you saw the padlock, it's a legit Microsoft page, and yet you were still the one handing over the keys to your entire digital life. Well, that is the terrifying reality of device code phishing.
So how is this even possible? It all comes down to a legitimate feature. It's called the OAuth 2.0 device code flow. And this isn't some bug or a vulnerability. Nope. This was designed on purpose to solve a very real-world problem.
Just imagine trying to type your super long, complex password into your smart TV using that clunky remote. It's a nightmare, right? We've all been there. Well, the device code flow was created to fix exactly that. It lets you use a device that's easy to type on, like your phone, to log in on a device that, well, isn't.
The way it's supposed to work is actually really simple and kind of elegant. Your TV or your Xbox gives you a short code and a URL. You just whip out your phone, go to that URL, punch in the code, approve the sign-in, and bam, your TV is logged in. It's fast, it's easy, and that's exactly what the attackers are counting on.
So let's see how attackers take this beautiful, simple process and twist it into something malicious. They don't have to break the system at all. They just have to trick you into using it for them. This is a classic phishing technique, by the way, which you'll find under T1566 in the MITRE ATT&CK framework.
The bait usually shows up as something that feels urgent. A fake Teams meeting invite, a link to a secure document, a security alert. It looks official. It's got a link and a code, but they'll call it a meeting ID or file ID. It's all designed to make you act fast and not think too hard.
And here it is. This is the most dangerous, most deceptive part of the entire attack. When you click that link, you land on a real Microsoft website. All that training we give people to check for fake domains, it goes right out the window because everything looks perfect. You trust the page, so you trust what it's asking you to do.
So here's the disconnect, the sleight of hand. You think you're joining a meeting. You enter the code they gave you, you get that multi-factor authentication prompt on your phone, and you hit approve. But that code, that wasn't for a meeting. That code was generated by the attacker on their machine. So when you approve the login, the access tokens, the literal keys to your account, are sent directly to them.
You have just used your own perfectly valid credentials to authorize the attacker's session. It's the perfect analogy. You're the one with the all-access pass, and you've just used it to vouch for them and hold the backstage door wide open. They just walk right in.
So what's the actual damage? What can an attacker really do with this backstage pass? Well, the fallout is pretty severe. It grants them deep, persistent access inside your environment. And this is where the attack graduates from just getting in the door to something much, much worse. And hey, don't think this is just theoretical. Microsoft's own threat intelligence team tracks groups like Storm 2372 that use this exact technique in the real world. They are weaponizing what MITRE calls valid accounts, that's T1078, to hit all kinds of organizations. This is happening right now.
Once they're in, they can basically become you. They're reading your emails, digging through your OneDrive, setting up inbox rules to hide their tracks by deleting security alerts, and here's a really critical one. They can register their own device in your company's network. This often gives them a primary refresh token, a PRT, which is like the master key for single sign-on. It cements their foothold in a really scary way.
And when I say foothold, I mean for the long haul. That refresh token they stole? It's not good for an hour or even a day. By default, it can grant them access for up to 90 days. Let that sink in. A full 3 months of persistent, unauthorized access, all from one tiny mistake.
Okay, that was a lot of bad news, but here's the good news. We can absolutely fight back. So let's switch hats and look at this from the defender's side of the table. There are very clear, very actionable things we can do to find and stop this attack.
Look, every attack leaves breadcrumbs. The attacker is relying on social engineering, but their method leaves a very specific technical trace in the sign-in logs. So, as defenders, we can actively hunt for any authentication that uses the device code protocol. And when you start hunting, you're really just looking for things that don't feel right, anomalies. Is someone logging in with a device code from a country they've never been to? Is that login coming from a personal laptop that isn't managed by IT? Is there a sudden spike in these kinds of logins across the whole company? These are the red flags that should get your attention.
But just detecting it isn't enough, right? Prevention is the name of the game. And the most powerful weapon we have in our arsenal against this specific attack is a conditional access policy right inside Microsoft Entra ID.
So here's the playbook. Recommendation number 1, the big one, is to use conditional access to just block the device code flow for everybody by default. Then you can create very specific, targeted exceptions for the few users or service accounts that actually need it. This flips the entire model from allow by default to deny by default. And that dramatically shrinks your attack surface.
Now, a really important word of caution here. You can't just go and flip that switch. Some legitimate things, like the hardware in your conference rooms or certain admin scripts, actually depend on this flow. So the key is to audit first. Run your policy in report-only mode, see what it would have blocked, create your exceptions, then you flip the switch to enforce it.
And that really brings us to the final question, the one you need to take back to your team. Is this authentication flow a feature you are actively managing in your environment, or is it a forgotten, wide-open door that you didn't even realize was unlocked? Finding the answer to that question could make all the difference.